哈利路亚，奉主耶稣圣名啊，我们很高兴，我们一起来这边一起来查考圣经。
So thank God, I'm very happy to study the Word of God together with everyone.
那我们这次要讲圣经论，就是 Bibliology.
And so this time we will talk about Bibliology.
那我们今天晚上先来讲序论。
And so we will talk about
forward.
The prolegomena.
那我们先来看我们赞美诗前面的这个本会的基本信仰。
And so if we look at the basic beliefs that are listed in the hymn book.
那我们的第二条序论嘛，就从这个开始。
And so the second article of faith talks about the Holy Bible.
好，那我们中文念一遍，英文念一遍，英文先念好了。
And so we'll read first in English, the second article of our faith. The Holy Bible, consisting of the Old and New Testaments, is inspired by God, the only scriptural truth and the standard for Christian living.
好，那希望这次我们能够针对这个，这是最基础的来谈哈。
And so the hope is that we would focus on this as the foundation for us to study.
好，那圣经就包含了新旧约。
The Holy Bible consisting of the Old and New Testaments.
什么是约？什么是新旧？
And so what is a testament and what is old and what is new?
那什么是圣经？
And what is the Holy Bible?
什么是末世？
And so what is the end times?
末世你要 inspire。
What is inspired?
什么叫做末世嘛？哈，中文的末世就默默的启示 ，inspire 就是一个 spirit 跑到里面去了。
And so in Chinese, the translation of inspired is spirit enters.
到底是什么？
And so what does that mean?
那这是证明正道的唯一证据。
And so that this is the only scriptural truth.
新约旧约的经典性，它的权威性是哪里来？
And so what is the essence of the Old and New Testament? Where did it come from?
好，然后呢是信徒生活的准则。
And so this is the standard for Christian living.
那接下来2天，我们希望能够从这里能够得到一个更明白的一个答案，从圣经里面。
And so for the next couple of days, we hope that we can get a more detailed answer from the perspective of the Bible.
好，那我们现在来看那个导论嘛，哈，导论。
So today so now we'll look at the prolegomena.
你一听到圣经
And so when you hear about the Bible,
一般人都会正常的基督徒啦，不一定是就是哪个教派都想说圣经都是神的话，对不对？
And so we're talking about normal Christians. Every day they would think of the Bible as the Word of God.
这是一个普通的想法。
And this is the normal way of thinking.
这也是一个简约的，就是很简单的把它约列的一个说法。
And so this is a very common, easy way to explain.
其实如果在讲圣经论的时候
And so when we talk about bibliography,
这样的一个讲法是不是非常正确的？
it is not very accurate.
为什么？
Why?
当然你会讲了，圣经起初神创造天地之后，神每天都说，神说要有光就有光，神说都是神讲的嘛哈。
And so of course you can say that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and so you can say that God said, and so it was.
但是神说完之后
but after God said,
人又讲了
then man spoke.
人类的有记得在圣经的第一句话是什么？
And so in the first phrase of the Old Testament says what?
就是亚当讲的嘛。
The first person spoke the words of Adam.
你也以前讲过，结婚的时候那个传道有没有教你说你要讲你是我骨中骨肉中肉，有没有？
And that in marriage,
这是人的话。
And so at wedding ceremonies, that they say that this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. And so these are the words of man.
那第3章呢，
And then chapter 3
就是魔鬼的话，
then has the words of Satan.
有括号的蛇对女人说啊，引号的就是魔鬼的话。
And then it has the quotation marks that the serpent spoke to the woman.
哦，所以里面也有魔鬼话。
And so the Bible also contains words of Satan.
哦，那个圣经里面魔鬼讲的话也记载蛮多的。
And actually, the Bible records many quotes from the devil.
好了，甚至那个驴子也讲话，
And even the woman spoke.
不是驴子啊，当体啊。
The donkey spoke.
所以圣经里面不只是神的话，
And so the Bible is not just the words of God.
有人的话，
It has the words of man.
吵架的话。
It has words of fighting.
如果你看那个列王记上，那个敌人来在城墙那边跟以色列人他们敌人对话，就是跟城里面的神的百姓的派出去的官长在那边对话。
And then in 1 Kings, the enemy comes and then they speak to the people, the Israelites within the city walls, and they send out a messenger to have a dialogue.
摩西生气起来啊，
And then when Moses
他
got
讲
angered,
气话嘛，你们这些悖逆的百姓
and so Moses
让你那个就是击打磐石的时候，是人的气话。
And so Moses spoke words out of anger when he struck the rock. He called them stiff-necked people.
好，那其实圣经是什么？
And so what is the Bible then?
就是神要让我们知道的话。
And so these are the words that God wants us to know.
那这个跟永生、跟我们的行为都是有关系的。
And so these are all related towards salvation and how we ought to live.
所以圣经不全都是神讲的话。
And so the Bible is not fully what God, the words of God.
有很多其他的话在里面。
And so there are other words inside.
好，那这是我们一个进入到圣经最基础的。
And so this is the most elementary of the Bible.
好，那从那个圣经，我们现在是导论了哈，这一个概列的一个想法。圣经从创世纪一直到启示录。
And so this is, again, this is from Prolegomena. And so the Bible from Genesis all the way to Revelations.
当然就是我们那个信条里面，就是基本线也讲了，分新旧约。
And so just as it says in the second article of faith that it is separated by the Old and New Testament.
旧约大分来讲的话，
And the majority of the Old Testament.
分类的话就是 classification。
And so the classification of the Old Testament.
是3分的哈。
And so there are 3 classifications.
分成3大类。
3 major classifications.
那这个3大类是主耶稣所肯定的。
And so these 3 classifications are confirmed by Lord Jesus Christ.
那这个我们明天还会讲的更多哈。
And so we'll speak more about this tomorrow.
我们来看那个路加福音24章44节。
And so if we look at Luke chapter 24, verse 44.
路加福音24章44节。
Luke chapter 24, verse 44.
这主耶稣对他们说了哈，
And so these are the words that Jesus spoke to them.
说我这时候主耶稣要升天了哈，
And so this is right before Jesus ascended to
耶
heaven.
稣已经复活了，
And so Jesus has already
那
resurrected.
又跟他们几天在一起。
And he spent some days with them.
那主耶稣说：“我从前与你们同在的时候，所告诉你们的话，啊。”
And so verse 44, these are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you.
那时候讲什么呢？
And what did he say?
就是第一个就是摩西的律法，
And so first is the law of Moses.
第二个是先知的书，
And then the second are the prophets.
第三个是诗篇上所记的。
And then the third are the Psalms
那凡指着我的，就必应验。
concerning me.
好，那这个就所谓的旧约。
And so
以我们其实耶稣的时候没有所谓的旧约这个名词，没有。
And so these are what consists of the Old Testament, but at the time of Jesus, there's no terminology of Old Testament.
在耶稣那个时候，只有 一本经书啦，就是说圣经就是只有讲旧约而已，新约那时候还没有啊。
And so this is the Old Testament would be the entire, just what be consist of the Bible, and there was no New Testament.
那在当时的所谓的圣经就是经典哈，就是三分法的。
And so the Bible, the Old Testament has three major classifications.
第一个就是摩西五经
And it has the five books of Moses.
也就是摩西的律法书哈。
And these are the law of the Book of Moses.
第二类就是先知书。
And then the second are the prophets.
那先知书从什么时候开始？从什么是先知书呢？
And so when did the prophets book start? When does it start?
先知书是从约书亚记开始。
The prophets actually start from the Book of Joshua.
这叫从约书亚记一直到列王记，这个叫做前先知书。
And so from the Book of Joshua all the way to 2 Kings, this is the first set of prophet books.
那从那个后来是叫以赛亚，以前那个耶利米书放前面的，就是所谓的后先知书，从以赛亚，然后一直到那个马拉基书。
And then from Isaiah all the way to Malachi, these are the latter prophet books.
那其他的呢，都是叫做就是诗篇，因为诗篇带头叫做 writing 就是著作。
And so all the other books are called Psalms because Psalms is the start of it, and so these are the writings.
那你现在你拿到的这个无论是什么本我们这个其实是三分法的内容，但是是四分法的排版。
And so no matter what version of the Bible you read, it is three major classifications, but four ways of ordering.
如果你手上有那个就是74本的话，你有希伯来文圣经啦。
If you have the Hebrew Bible,
就是像我刚刚讲的一样，是三分法的。
it would be, as I said before, there would be three major classifications.
三分法就是摩西五经，接下来才我们一般讲的历史书其实历史书是这个稍微一个概念，就历史书，其实历史书又分两类我们讲的历史书，一种是先知，以先知为眼光看的历史。一个是以祭司，譬如说那个。
And so then there would be the first part would be the 5 books of Moses, and then after that would be the historical books, and then the historical books would be separated into two. One is from the perspective of the prophets, and then the other is from the perspective of the priests.
譬如说历代志上下
just like First Chronicles and Second Chronicles.
在三分法里面，历代志上下是属于 writing 的，是属于那个诗篇第三类的。
And so in the three major classifications, then the First and Second Chronicles would be under the Psalms, the writing section.
一个很有名的例子
as a very famous example.
就是同样一个事情的记载。
The same recording.
那个在列王的记载
And the recording in the Kings.
有关那个大卫数点人数的时候。
When David, recording of David taking a census.
那个撒母记下是属于列王记的
And so the second Samuel is contained in the Kings.
那我们看24章第1节
So 2 Samuel chapter 24.
这里是说主又向以色列人发怒。
So 2 Samuel chapter 24 verse 1, it says, Again the anger of the Lord was
就
aroused.
激动大卫去数点人数。
And he moved David against them to say, Go number Israel and Judah.
如果你同样这个你看历代志上
And if you take this same passage and you compare it to 1 Chronicles,
历代志上21章
1 Chronicles chapter 21,
第5节
verse 5.
，22章第5节。
Oh, sorry. 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 5.
等一下，21章第1节
Well, 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verse
21章第1节，
verse 1.
就是撒旦起来攻击以色列人，激动大卫数点他们。到底哪一个对啊？
And so it says, Now Satan stood up against Israel and moved David to number Israel. So what is correct?
第一个概念是第一次看，不对啊，怎么两个记载不一样？
And so at first glance, you see that they are very different.
但是这是两个不一样的眼光来看
But these are actually two different perspectives.
一个是从先知，
One is from the perspective of the prophets,
一个是从那个祭司，
and the other is from the perspective of the priests.
一个从属灵的眼光来看，
One is from a spiritual perspective,
一个是从那个组织制度、神的话语来看。
it is from the perspective of the Word of God.
好，那所以那个历代志上下其实是就是在三分法是属于那个著作，属于我们一般讲的智慧书的了。
And so from the three major classifications point, the book of 1st and 2nd Chronicles is listed under the writings, the Psalms, what we consider as wisdom books.
好，那至于我们现在这个你手上的这个圣经呢，
And so for the Bible that you hold in your hands,
它的排版是被受那个74译本的影响 ，Septuagint。
and so the order of the Bible is influenced by the Septuagint.
这说四分法，
And so this is four major
就
classifications.
是摩西五经，
The 5 books of Moses,
再来就是历史书、
the historical books,
智慧书，
book of wisdom,
再来就是先知书，
then the books of the
这
prophets.
是四分法的。
And so this is the four major classifications.
那这个四分法就是所以那个74译本的分法，我们没有我们的就是我们现在用的圣经，只照着它的形式，但是内容没有照它那个。
And
所以
so
74译本有很多的那个所谓旁经伪经全部删掉了。
And so we have ordered the Bible according to the Septuagint, but the contents of the Septuagint have are different. We've taken out the
删掉就把它
removed a portion of it.
那讲这个记住一个原则就是，
And so there's one standard to remember.
这个我们在这2天一直会重复用的。
And so this is a standard we will repeat.
就是到底3分对还是4分对？
Is the 3 major classifications right or the 4 classifications right?
马拉基书完了之后，还有很多人写很多的书啊。
And after the book of Malachi, there are many people who wrote many other books.
甚至新约有时候也应用啊。
And even the even the New Testament, they will reference to those other books.
像犹大书那个犹大也用了所谓的伪经里面的摩西升天记啊。
And so the book of Jude,
犹大书里面也用到了来我们来看一下，犹大书是没有写了说他引用哪里。
And so the book of Judas is not written, but it is not recorded, but it is referenced in where?
我们看犹大书
If we look at the book of Jude,
第9节
verse 9.
好，请念。
Jude verse 9. Yet Michael the archangel, in contending with the devil when he disputed about the body of Moses, dared not bring him a reviling accusation, but said, "The Lord rebuke you."
那这个资料其实是在那个伪经里面的。伪经那个pseudo epigrapha。
And so These are recorded in the pseudo-epigrapha.
对对，你发音对，我发音会很重的德音 ，pseudo-epigraphy 德文。PSEU
pseudo-epigrapha.
对，好，那有人就讲呢，
So some people say,
为什么不把伪经给纳进来？
so why don't we bring in this pseudo-epigrapha?
唯一的答案在哪里？
And so what is the only answer?
就是24、44 24、44。
24:44.
就是加那个路加福音24章44节。
That is Luke chapter 24, verse 44.
那我们再念一遍哈。
And so we'll read it again.
主耶稣所认定的圣经是希伯来的三分法的圣经。
And so the book that Jesus considered as the Bible is the one the Hebrew Bible.
这个很奇妙。
And so this is very
在
miraculous.
当时很多人都是读74本的。
And so many will study the
不是
pseudo-epigrapha,
那个Septuagint，
the Septuagint.
74本是四分法。
And so the Septuagint is 4 major categories.
但是耶稣讲的内容是希伯来文的圣经三分法的。
But the content in which Jesus is referring to is the Hebrew Bible, which has 3 major categories.
那很感谢神呢，一直我们真耶稣教会也不印圣经。
And so when True Jesus Church studies the Bible,
我们不印圣经啊。
we don't publish the
不
Bible.
是的，我们也没有去到目前应该没有说我们特别有去讲版本学啊。
And so we don't study different versionology.
或是那个 text criticism， 就是那个经文批判学，我们很少哈。但是呢，很奇妙啊，我们就是拿对了。
But very miraculously, we have gotten the right one.
那个天主教它是比较属于就是其实它是从74本也没有完全哦，没有完全全部把它收录，它只有那个新旧约当中的旁经，它只是取了7卷。
And so even the Catholic Church does not fully utilize the Septuagint. They just use sections of the pseudo.
那这是不就是
No.
这是那个旁经哈啊，那个在这个旁经里面，它只是收起七卷而已了哈。
And so they only take 7 books from this version.
那个东正教哈就收集了更多。东正教就是那个Orthodox Church, Greek Orthodox.
And the Greek Orthodox Church, they use more of the Septuagint.
他们就直接读那个74本啦。
And so they read directly from the Septuagint.
因为他们是74本就是希腊文的旧约圣经啦。
And so the Septuagint is the Latin Old Testament.
好，这样会不会头晕了？应该不会了哈。
So is everyone confused?
讲结果就好了。
So let's jump to the conclusion.
我们用对了，
So we use the correct one.
我们只能相信说神带领我们对的。
And so we can just trust that God has brought us to the right one.
那虽然我们的那个旧约的编排法，就是编排法好像是那个74本的，就是好像4分法的。
And so even though the Old Testament order follows the order of the Septuagint almost as the 4 categories,
就是五经、
the 5 books of Moses,
历史书、
the historical books,
智慧书、
the wisdom books,
先知书，
and the prophet books.
其实它的内容是希伯来原文的3分法的。
And so the content of it originates from the Hebrew Hebrew Bible.
所以新旧约之间的那些伪经旁经就没有接受了。
And so the Old and the New Testament do not accept the pseudo.
那为什么呢？
Why not?
就是24、44。
And it's because of Luke 24, verse 44.
耶稣说：“来，耶稣跟他们讲的，并且印证耶稣的，就是这个经，也就是这个三分法的。”
And so Jesus says that these things must be fulfilled, and then these three major categories.
好，那新约呢？
And so what about the New Testament?
大家都会背了嘛，哈。
And everyone can memorize it.
那个是4个福音书，
And the 4 Gospels.
一个已经过的历史，
And then one is a history that has passed.
一个将来要成全的预言书。
And then one is a book of prophecies, which is which is in the future.
那中间那就是13跟8，那个保罗13封信，一般书信8封，13加8 21。
And then come the 13 Pauline epistles, and then the 8 general letters.
这就是新约的整个就是4、1、21、1。
And so these are the contents of the New Testament is 4, 1, 21, and 1.
那就是27了嘛，哈。
And so they add up to 27 books.
那以后就可以看到是4个福音，2个历史，21封信。
And so you can separate it as 4 Gospels, 2 history books, and then 21 letters.
这是以新约来讲，全世界的基督教是一致的。
And so this New Testament, we can say that Christianity have all agreed on these 27.
好，那这个圣经到底谁写的？
And so who wrote the Bible?
那这个就有时候有记载，有时候没有。
Sometimes it is recorded, and sometimes it is not recorded.
那到最后呢是，这是要分开。这几天我们一直会讲这个问题，就是圣经那个经文谁把它写下来，对不对？第一个写。
And so the question we will often raise in the next few days is who wrote it down, who physically wrote it.
写的人，譬如说摩西，你不要想说摩西有一天他是坐在那里开始从创世纪一直写到申命记，这样写摩西五经，没有这回事情。
And so do not think that Moses just one day he decided to sit down and start writing all 5 books starting from Genesis.
不是这样子的。
It is not this way.
但是他一路在写哦。
So he wrote it throughout his journey.
那写，他写就当成一个就是一个文献 document 放着。
And so he wrote it as a document to record.
我们来看那个很有名的，我们来看出埃及记。
And so if we look at the book of Exodus.
出埃及记17章。
Exodus chapter 17.
(14节)
Verse 14.
好，请你念。
Exodus chapter 17, verse 14. Then the Lord said to Moses, Write this for a memorial in the book, and recount it in the hearing of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heaven.
好，那这里可以看得到，神叫摩西说把这个事情把它写下来。
And so we see here that God tells Moses to write this.
所以这只是在当时的一个记录。
And so this is just one recording at that time.
所以有一个概念就是，摩西一路写来。
And so we have to have this understanding that Moses was writing it as he was going.
但是后来一定有一个人把这些他写的东西把它编辑起来。
But we have later on, there's someone who must have consolidated all of it.
世界上，譬如说中国的西洋也一样了哈，那个柏拉图的对话录哈。
So just like in China,
不是 那个古希腊柏拉图啊，Plato 的那个代。
Plato. For example, Plato.
他在上课的时候跟学生讲话。
When he was in class, he was talking to the students.
但是那个柏拉图对话录不是柏拉图写的。
But the dialogues of Plato were not written by Plato.
那中国的《论语》也一样。
And same thing with the
中国《论语》怎么说啊？那个叫做 “cron” 什么东西的
Chinese proverbs.
不是，那有个专有名词我忘了。好，就是孔子的语录哈。
So these are sayings by Confucius.
也不是孔子写的嘛。
They are not written by Confucius.
但里面有孔子的话。
But they contain the words of Confucius.
所以一开始已经子曰什么东西，子曰绝对不是孔子说我是子曰，自己写子曰。他不会说孔子说。
He would not say. Confucius would not say. Confucius said.
你写日记嘛？对。
We write journals.
你写日记会不会写说我说没有了？
So in our diary, we would not write I wrote.
那我们来看一节哈，《民数记》。
And so if we look at Numbers,
33章
Chapter 33,
1、2、3节。
Numbers chapter 33, verses 1 to 3.
这一节让你们回去看一下，明天我们再来谈。从这一节来看，你会不会看得到说这有一个编辑的手在这里？
And so if we go home and read this, can we see that there is a hand? Can you notice where the hand is consolidating all of this?
你看到，你把它分析一下，第一节跟第二节有没有不一样？
And so are there any differences between verses 1 and 2?
那第1节、2节还有3节有什么不同？
And so are there any inconsistencies or differences verses 1, 2, and 3?
好，所以那这个明天我们再来谈了哈。
And so tomorrow we will discuss this.
那我们来看那个民数记。
And so if we look at Deuteronomy, Numbers.
民数记我们来看第21章。
Numbers chapter 21.
这个我们蛮熟悉的哈。
And so we are familiar with this one.
好，那个21章第10节。
Numbers chapter 21, verse 10.
好，以色列人起行了哈。
And so the children of Israel moved on
安营在阿伯。
and camped in Oboth.
那一个一个写哈。
And so they write one by one.
那我们知道写的是谁
？Do we know who wrote it?
就是那个摩西嘛哈。
And so it's written by Moses.
之后我们就知道神叫摩西说，你每一站都把它记下来，一站一站一站。
And so we see that God commanded Moses to write every stop.
那我们来看那个第14节。
And then if we look at verse 14.
好，请念。
Verse 14, therefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, Waheb in Suphah, the brooks of the Arnon.
继续念。
Verse 15, and the slope of the brooks that reaches to the dwelling of Ar and lies on the border of Moab.
第16节。
16, from there they went to Beer, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together and I will give them water.
好，我们看，如果你看13节哈。
And so if we look at verse 13.
其实10节、11节都有一个，因为在记载一定记载什么时候就是从哪里起行，在哪里安营，有一个形式哈。
And so there's a pattern of where that will record where they arise and where they stop.
那在这里都会说从哪里起行。
And so it will record where they move on from.
到哪里
And then where they camp.
好，譬如说13节哈。
And for example, verse 13.
从那里起行，安营在雅嫩河那边。
For example, verse 13. From there they moved and camped on the other side.
然后呢，16节，
And then verse
以
16.
色列人从那里也是起行了，到了哪里？
And so there they went, they moved, and then where they arrived.
在这当中呢，
And so in this process,
那有一个特别的记载，
there is a special recording.
记载什么呢？
And what does it record?
有一本书叫做《主的战记》。
And there's a book called the Book of the Wars of the Lord.
这本书在哪里？
And so where is this book?
这本书存在吗？
Does this book exist?
一定是存在的嘛。
It must exist.
在摩西那个时候，
During the time of Moses,
他看过，
Moses
他
read
看到
it.
并且呢，这本书是主的战记呀、主
This
神的战记。
book is the book of the wars of the Lord.
如果你看上下，这个战记有一点像那个在描写地形地势的那个军事的那个战记一样哦。
And so if you look at the context, it is almost as if it is recording actual wars.
你看摩西在写这一段记事的时候，这个主的战记老早就已经存在了。
And so at the time of Moses writing this, the book of the wars of the Lord has already existed.
摩西也把当时的这个战记的主的战记的里面的一段抄进来。
And so Moses took a section of the book of the wars of the Lord and copied it.
好，我们再来看一节哈。
And so let's look at another verse.
我们看约书亚记第10章。
We look at the book of Joshua chapter 10.
好，那第10章这个是日夜的故事哈，日夜停止。
And so this is
the
the story of the sun stand still.
好，那打完之后，
And so after they fight the war,
那我们来看那个第10章第13节。
and so if we look at chapter 10, verse 13.
好，请念。
Verse 13. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped till the people had revenge upon their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and did not hasten to go down for about a whole day.
13节你念了吗？哈，这里有一个书叫做什么书呢？亚萨尔书。
And so here it records a book called the Book of Jasher.
亚萨尔书。
And this is the Book of Jasher.
这里你可以看得到，在记载这个事件的时候，
And so during the recording of this event,
在这里你可以要分因为我们讲圣经论嘛，讲的比较细一点哦。在这里可以分几个层面来看呢？
and so because from the perspective of bibliology, we can see it from different levels.
回去想一个晚上啊。
You can think about it all night.
第一个就是历史的事件哈。
And so the first is from history.
就是那个约书亚出去打仗的时候，
That when Joshua, he went out to fight a war.
跟那个武王打仗的时候，
And he fought against the coalition of 5
这是
kings.
历史事件。
And so this is a recording of history.
那历史事件应该是发生之后才会有历史的描述嘛，才会写历史啊。
And so the recording of this must have been after the actual event in order to record history.
那历史写完之后，
And after history is recorded,
后来有人在编历史的时候，
that when afterwards, when someone's writing about the history,
那又是一个层面了。
that is another level.
那在这里你可以不可以看到不同的层面呢？
And so you can see different levels.
来，我们再来看一节哈。
And let's look at another verse.
我们来看撒母耳，那个撒母耳记下第1章
We look at 2 Samuel chapter 1,
第17节。
verse 17. 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 17. Then David lamented with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. Verse 18. And he told them to teach the children of Judah the song of the bow. Indeed, it is written in the book of Jasher.
好， 这个亚撒尔书又出来了。
And so we see the book of Jasher makes another appearance.
从约书亚时代一直到大卫的时代，这个亚撒尔书一直存在的。
And so from the time of Joshua to the time of David, the book of Jasher continues to exist.
经过几年
？Over how many years?
400年的亚撒尔书。
And so it is over a period of 400 years.
现在存在吗？
Does it still exist?
现在没有了。
It no longer exists.
好，那在这里也可以看得到，你把它分层面看看，我们明天再来。
And so we can see it from different levels, and we will discuss tomorrow.
所以，一家如果3口人的话，一个人一个题目，今天就3个题目。
And so if you have a family of 3, each of you can take a different topic, since there are 3 homework assignments.
那我们明天继续哈。
And so we will continue tomorrow.
我们唱诗26首。
And so we will sing hymn number 26.